10 most annoying Prince Harry moments that made him unlikable. Number 10, attention to down there. One story about Prince Harry's frost-bitten genitals gets far too much attention in his memoir, and also made headlines before Spare even came out. Harry travels to the North Pole in advance of Prince William's wedding to Kate, and returns home with frost-bitten ears, cheeks, and todger. Upon arriving home, I'd been horrified to discover that my nether regions were also frostnit. That is literally a sentence from his memoir. He writes about thinking about Princess Diana's funeral and the people who were buried at Westminster Abbey for the wedding ceremony. Evidently, he is also contemplating his frostbite issues. He writes, I was in danger of becoming as anxious as the groom. Between these thoughts of mummy and death and my frost-nipped nether regions. What was the universe out to prove by taking my nether regions at the same time it took my brother, Harry also wonders. The reader is informed that Harry's genitals were oscillating between extremely sensitive and borderline traumatized. Shortly thereafter, Frostnipistan was the last place I wanted to be. Harry eventually sees a doctor and tells him that it will get better with time. One very close mate hired a seamstress to make me a bespoke cushion for down there. He writes later when he sets out to the South Pole with actor Dominic West, who would later portray Charles in The Crown. It was made from pieces of the softest fleece and was square, supportive, and enough said. Yeah. Literally something Harry talked about in his memoir. Anyway, on to number 9, high on laughing gas. The fact that Prince Harry wrote about the birth of his son is not strange. Rather, the specifics he provided were fascinating. He, for instance, used Meghan's laughing gas. I took several slow piercing hits, he writes. Meghan laughed and rolled her eyes as she bounced on a huge purple ball, a well-known way to push nature. I took a few more blows and now I was also bouncing. A nurse tried to give Meg laughing gas when her contractions started to get stronger and faster. Nothing was left. I could see the nurse slowly forming the idea as she looked at me and the tank. Generous, the spouse had everything. I apologized gently, Meghan snickered, the medical attendant needed to chuckle and immediately changed the canister. Number 8, profiting off the family. Even though they aren't going to be making money as working members of the royal family, the couple has found other ways to collect their checks. Along with their highly controversial Netflix docuseries and the memoir Harry released, I have a feeling this couple has found their sweet spot when it comes to content the audience will pay for. And yep, you guessed it. It usually involves never heard before tea on the very private royal family. Their production company, Archwell Productions, signed the $100 million deal to make the Netflix series, as well as a $25 million deal with Spotify, where Meghan hosts a podcast and discusses real-life issues with celebrities. Even though they were not paid for the interview they had done with Oprah, it cost the royal family their reputation. Meghan and Harry chose to expose the royals in the CBS special, where allegations of racism were brought up, unfair treatment towards Meg, and even how they were cut off financially by the royals after stepping back from their responsibilities. As juicy as the memoir is, Harry doesn't seem to hold back his distaste for the relations the royals have with the British media. Harry even insinuated that the relationship the royals have with the press has dictated a lot of kinds of attention and headlines they've had, calling them an extended arm of PR for over 30 years. We already knew how much Harry disliked the paparazzi, especially after his mother's fatal car crash, so I guess there's no surprise that he decided to go in on the British media and their invasive tactics. But to be fair, I can't blame him for being annoyed with them. I can imagine how tiring it is to have to be careful of how you live to avoid making headlines as often as they already do. On to number 7, the docuseries. Since the backlash from the interview didn't seem to do anything to Harry and Meg, it was followed by this tell-all docuseries that dives into the personal lives of the couple and their experiences at the royal castle, which they felt was mandatory to share with the rest of the world. And just to be clear, this caused just as much, if not more, backlash, with more people questioning why the couple keeps sharing all these personal stories after claiming they want to keep their personal lives away from the media attention. Many people have questioned if this couple decided to drop this Netflix miniseries to make extra cash since it doesn't seem the royal inheritances is enough to keep their family stable. And what would be better than milking the story of the royal family and exposing them for more money? Obviously, the royal family did not appreciate these attempts from the couple to bring them more attention while trying to give them a bad rep, but to be fair, the couple themselves don't have the greatest reputation among many people. It's all subjective. And then, of course, Harry targeted the British media and their attempts to exploit the royal family. During the 3rd episode of this series, Harry described the role of royal correspondents, those who specialize in coverage and analysis of the royal family for newspapers and tabloids. In the documentary, Harry says he was chased by paparazzi 30 or 40 times in his youth, particularly while attending school. He said the UK tabloid media believes the royal family is ours to exploit. Their trauma is our story and our narrative to control. During the opening episode, Harry says it's part of his responsibility as a member of the royal family to expose how the British tabloids operate. I feel as though being part of this family, it is my duty to uncover this exploitation and bribery that happens within our media. Well, you're not a working member of the royal family, Harry, and now it seems like you've joined the tabloids to exploit the royals. How ironic. Number 6, cutting family ties. That time when they announced their departure, Meghan and Harry surprised the royal family. The bomb that Harry and Meghan dropped early in the new year reportedly caught everyone, including the Queen, off guard. We have chosen to make a transition this year and beginning to carve out a progressive new role within this institution after many months of reflection and internal discussions, they wrote on Instagram. As senior members of the royal family, we intend to maintain our full support for Her Majesty the Queen while working toward financial independence. Number 5, twisting the truth. The couple claims to have given up a lot to start a whole new life, but did they? So far, most things they have been doing involve the fact that they haven't given up some aspects of the life they were once living. For once, the title of Harry and Meghan's foundation caused some royal drama because they were told they were no longer allowed to use royal Sussexes. They eventually came to an agreement that the title will be revised after the spring of 2020. Other ways it just doesn't seem that the couple has let go completely is by the fact that they are profiting off the grief they experienced from the royals and sharing it with people in different forms, like the series, interviews, and even the new memoir, Spare, which focuses greatly on how he dealt with all the royal drama, exposing his family and his experience in many incidences throughout the life he lived as a royal. Number 4, speaking of the memoir, the controversial memoir that was released earlier this year has made quite a few people question Harry's intentions. Highly sensitive information about family members is included, which obviously had not been discussed with the family members before. Things such as William being circumcised or Camilla being a villain just sounds like something Harry wanted to say to alter the way people look at them. The memoir seems like a stab in the back of his family, and it most definitely isn't a good look for Harry or even Meghan, who have come out more than once saying the family never supported them and how their staff was never looking out for them either. Number 3, Frosty family complaints. It was a known fact that many did sympathize with the Sussexes' complaints about their cold reception in Britain and a few royal protocols that did not sit well with them. But some accusations against the palace and the press feel wild and over the top, which is not doing them any favors in the opinion polls either. According to sources, the Sussexes are now amongst the most unpopular public figures in Britain. Shocking, right? The only royal who is more disliked than both is Prince Andrew. Fox News columnist Lee Cohen suggested Meghan and Harry are on track to be more hated than the Duke of Windsor and Wallis Simpson. Cohen said, like the Windsors before them, the Sussexes have fallen out of favor in Britain for their indecorous behavior. But while the Duke of Windsor let his people down by being irresponsible, he and his wife did not seek the spotlight in any meaningful way, nor did they exist to be hell-bent to destroy the monarchy. Harry didn't seem to have any problem storing his brother, father, and even grandmother, the recently departed queen, under a big red double-decker London bus. But can you blame him? Number 2, stripped of titles. Harry was stripped of his military titles and spending a lot of his life serving the military to losing the title passed on to him from his grandfather, Prince Philip. Tragic. Another role he will no longer serve is as Commodore-in-Chief for small ships and diving in the Royal Navy. Now their reputation is damaged, they don't have the support of a lot of people in the UK, and after their docuseries, Americans also feel a way about this couple. Sounds like they keep digging themselves in a deeper hole. And finally, number 1, everything Meg and Harry no longer have. Let's summarize everything this royal couple has lost on their way out of the palace. We already know they have not been receiving any royal funds. As working royals, they used to receive 95% of their annual income from Harry's father, and that's an insane bag to fumble, but somehow they managed to not only lose that, but much more. Their security arrangements were also taken back. They lost a lot of the royal titles, the support of their family, and even fans who were once sympathetic to their situation. They can't even go to Frogmore Cottage anymore, and they have to repay the amount they used to renovate it after they stepped down. Not to mention they lost respect from a lot of people who looked up to them during their time as royals. Their reputation has become pretty questionable after the allegations that have come out about the lying. But that is all for today. Let me know what you guys think of Harry and Meghan if they are able to redeem themselves. Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time on The Rich Life.